The Samsung Galaxy A80, Samsung's first phone that can do this. It's a beautiful device, but it does carry quite an expensive price tag. Selling at 44,500 rupees today, is there something to this? Has Samsung offered something that makes the A80 worth considering? Or is it way too overpriced for what it offers? Let's find out in today's video. Hey guys, Ash here from C4eTech, and if you do end up finding this video useful, please do consider turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon. So what is unique about the A80 is this camera set up to the top. Now, it doesn't just elevate, but it also flips the cameras around, so it's got two motorized stages. This means we get to use the rear cameras as the front cameras, and that also allows for an uninterrupted viewing experience. Now, this is the hook, the selling point of the A80. So does it do a good job? Well, with the display, hell yes. This is a Gorilla Glass covered 6.7-inch Super AMOLED Infinity panel. The aspect ratio is 20:9, making it a little taller than what we are used to. But look at it. Isn't it breathtaking? I know the resolution is just Full HD and not Quad HD like with the flagships, but even compared to the Note 10 Plus, there are times when I like this more. This is all-screen. This all-screen AMOLED panel, it's fabulous. The experience is a lot more immersive. Watching videos on this is great. Of course, there's wideband L1 and there is only a single speaker downwards firing, but it's pretty loud and bassy. The output was clean, no distortion even at the higher levels. And as for audio via the headphone jack, it was non-existent since the A80 was one of the first Samsung phones to drop the headphone jack, and also micro SD. Now Samsung softens both blows a little here by including 128 gigs of storage and a pair of Type-C earphones in the box, the audio output via which sounded quite good. While we are on the topic of audio, the earpiece is not to be found anywhere. The A80 kinda uses the display as the earpiece. Technology is similar to what Xiaomi used with the original Mi Mix, and the result? The calls, they were okay. I wasn't as comfortable as I would have been with a regular earpiece, but I wouldn't go as far as to say the call quality was bad either. I would say they were about average. At times I had to strain to hear what the other person was saying, especially in noisy environments. Now the cellular reception was great though. Also under the display is a fingerprint scanner. This one's of the optical kind and it is pretty slow. It can also be inaccurate at times. Now, due to the motorized nature of the cameras, Samsung doesn't offer face unlock with the A80. So you'd have to rely on this fingerprint scanner or turn the clock back a few years and go with a PIN or password, which I'm sure most of us don't want to actually do. So when it comes to security, the experience here wasn't great. A lot of fumbling around, I didn't really enjoy this. But apart from security, the rest of the software experience, now that's something I did enjoy. It was smooth. The A80 runs on Android 9 Pie with One UI on top. Most of the features from the flagship Samsung phones, they make their way over here. You get secure folder to hide your important files from prying eyes. You get full-fledged Samsung Pay, so you can use the A80 as a substitute for your credit card or debit card at pretty much any store with a card terminal. Now, given that this is an AMOLED panel, you get an always-on option, so you can quickly glance at the time when in bed. Talking about being in bed, there is a blue light filter to ease eye strain when you use the phone at night, and the brightness, it can also be cranked all the way down. As you can see, there is support for gesture navigation, and One UI, it's on version 1.1 here. It's largely smooth and snappy. Now that's thanks to not just the software optimization, but also the solid hardware underneath. What's underneath, you ask? The Galaxy A80, it's got 8 gigs of RAM, the aforementioned 128 gigs of onboard storage, but more importantly, it's powered by Qualcomm's gaming-focused premium mid-range chip, the Snapdragon 730G. Given this is focused on gaming after all, it was no surprise that the 730G and its GPU, the Adreno 618, were more than capable of handling any game on the market today. Keep in mind, we are only talking a regular Full HD display with a 60Hz refresh rate here, so there's not much heavy lifting involved, so games ran pretty well here without any stutter or lag. The glass back didn't get hot either. When you look at the spec sheet, a gaming focused chip, a large vibrant display, but a 3700 mAh battery, maybe battery life would take a hit, right? Turns out Samsung knows what they are doing. The A80, even with an hour of PUBG, an hour of calls via Bluetooth, some GPS navigation, streaming video, pictures, shot with the cameras and so on, even with usage like this, it still managed to last a day quite easily. And if you do run out of juice, the included 25-watt charger helps you go from 0 to 50 in just 30 minutes. The 3700 mAh battery, it still happens to be reason enough for the A80 to be big and hefty. It's narrowish, narrower than the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, for example. Now that's due to that 20:9 display, but it's tall, it's thick at 9.3 millimeters and quite heavy at about 220 grams. It's also top heavy due to that camera assembly. The uneven spread of weight can lead to accidental drops since you expect phones these days to have an even spread of weight. Now if you think the included case is going to help with the grip, then think again. The included case is also smooth and doesn't add much in terms of ergonomics or grip. But from a looks perspective, the Gorilla Glass back looks nice. This is the Angel Gold variant you're seeing me use in the video. It's easily the best looking option amongst the color variants Samsung has to offer. There's also a Ghost White and Phantom Black, but they are pretty bland in my humble opinion. Now let's get to the other reason, the other unique aspect of this phone. The cameras, we have three here. The primary is a 48 megapixel f2. It does a great job as long as the lighting is fine. It shoots 12 megapixels by default, of course. There's a lot of detail in the images it captures. The dynamic range is good. And as you can see, the images come across as rich and pleasant. I really like what Samsung's done here with the processing. Again, with this shot, the primary, it's quite a capable performer. Under low light, there is a dedicated night mode, yes, but the lack of optical image stabilization coupled with a relatively slow f2 aperture means the images aren't all that impressive. I mean, when there is some light, the camera can shoot reasonable images like this, so it's not bad or anything, but we are talking about a 45,000 rupee phone after all, right? And at this price point, I feel this just isn't cutting it. Now, the secondary is an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, so lets you shoot images like this. The detail takes a hit and the image seems a tad underexposed when compared to the primary. But if you've been following me for a while, you know I love ultra wides, so I really like the fact that this option exists. The third one, it's a TOF or time of flight sensor. It helps with depth detection. Does a fair job with live focus. The edges seem on point. The TOF sensor also lets you do portrait video. While the edge detection is not perfect, it still seems usable. Talking about video, the A80 maxes out at 4K at 30 FPS, but at this resolution, we do not get stabilization. So yes, there's ample detail and rich colors, but the lack of stabilization hurts. At 1080p, we do get stabilization, even super steady like we've seen with the Note 10, but the detailing takes a hit. Now flipping the cameras around, for selfies, Samsung provides a cropped in option, the regular selfie, and of course, wide angle. It is also a little disappointing that Samsung continues to not provide a proper Pro mode even with a phone like the A80. Now this is a camera focused phone and it's priced like a flagship. 45,000 is not a budget phone. Now talking about the price, the A80, it was launched at 48,000 rupees. As of now, it sells for 44,500, so the price has already been cut. Now, the flip camera, it does seem interesting, but at this price, the A80 is already knocking on the OnePlus 7 Pro's footsteps. Now, the OnePlus 7 Pro, it has a better display, better cameras, a better chip, a flagship chip. It's got a higher capacity battery, faster charging, day-to-day water resistance, and it has a lot more to offer overall. Now, if you're really insistent on the flip camera, the Asus 6Z has a better implementation and it comes with a Snapdragon 855 at a much lower price point. It even comes with a 5000 mAh battery and it isn't a Chinese brand for some people who don't want a Chinese phone for whatever reason. Then we have a whole lot of other phones with the Snapdragon 855. Now forget all these. If you are watching this video, odds are you want a Samsung phone, right? Then if you are okay with going for a smaller display, then the S10e is a current gen flagship from Samsung that has better cameras, all the way a better chip, wireless charging, a proper earpiece, a headphone jack, all at just a few thousand rupees more. Now the A80 is not a bad phone, it's a marvelous piece of engineering. Gotta give credit where it's due, Samsung's done great. But it is priced much higher than it should be. Maybe when it slips down to say the lower 30,000s, then it could be a phone that someone who's brand conscious can buy. Oh, let me clear this up. Generally, in my reviews, I don't rate a Samsung or an Apple phone the same way I do a Xiaomi or a Realme. Now that's cause someone buying a Samsung or an Apple often end up buying it for brand value. Like one of my colleagues, Rishabh, he just buys Apple because he feels, hey, brand value, right? Now, in the case of the A80, this is too expensive as of now, even for that. At 30,000 rupees-ish, it would still not be good value, like say a 6Z or a K20 Pro or even a OnePlus 7. But I can see people buying it for the Samsung brand name. Not at this price point though. So that's my take on the A80. What do you think? Do you agree with what I've had to say in this video? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this review. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.